Greetings, friends. This is Dr. Richard Marks, and welcome to A Murder Most Foul, The Life of a Hitman, a reading of my unpublished novel, In Chapters. I hope you'll enjoy it. Chapter 15. Then, Death and Fornication. One of our worst and most dangerous missions was also one of our last, an incursion deep into North Vietnam. A Viet Cong general, General Lan Tan Fong, was holed up in the city Yuan An Son, and his unit was conducting raids into Thailand and kidnapping women to use as forced prostitution. Thailand was an important U.S. ally, as we had multiple air bases there. We were tasked with eliminating the general and degrading his operation to the extent possible. We would sail to a small port town in Thailand named Chonburi, then travel overland Nakhon Phan Thong, a journey of about 10 hours. Then things would get dangerous. We would cross Laos under cover of darkness and enter North Vietnam, directly south of Huan An Son. 2 hours in North Vietnam was like a death sentence. It was one of the few operations that all 7 of us would conduct. The trip to Thailand went well as it can. We entered Laos and were met by a group of Hmong people who knew Sarge. He had been in Laos during their civil war, and they treated all of us as old friends. Fortunately, they also acted as our guides. Laos is mountainous, and hours would go by without seeing any villages or towns. We finally got to the border and made camp. "Gentlemen, this is General Fong," said Sarge, holding up an 8x10 glossy that oozed the North Vietnamese version of Vitalis. "Fong him," said Rich, which gave us all a chuckle. "Fong's troops make this run across Laos and into Thailand a couple times a month, so this area is not secure. Besides, who knows who may have tipped them off to our operation? Whores, SVA, I even worry about leaks from our side. In addition to prostitution, Fong seems to be getting into heroin sales, and that means big money, and money attracts rats of all kinds. Let's get some shut-eye, and we'll bug out at 0300. That should get us there a little before dawn," Miles whispered. "Shut-eye? Christ almighty, it's hot enough here to ball a monkey's bum." We all did our best to stifle our laughter. "Do you have to interject blasphemy into everything you say?" asked Thomas. "There are no atheists in foxholes," replied Miles. "There are no atheists in a whorehouse," said Coop. "I always call out the Lord's name at that golden moment. Oh, my God!" He feigned orgasm. "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord," Miles added. "Okay, let's quiet down and get some shut-eye and watch out for Chinese redheads and other creepy crawlies," said Allan through the snickers. "Aye, Captain." It was quiet and dark at 3 a.m., not the best time to be walking through the jungle. Sarge reminded us, "Remember, you're all city boys. Out here, Charlie loves his booby traps. Be careful." As we walked, we disarmed over 30 traps in just an hour. We were halfway there. "Hey, Spock, have you ever been in love? I mean, real love?" Allan asks. "Not really. Well, maybe when I was a kid, I had this thing for one of my foster sisters. But no, not really. I'm not really sure what love is. You know Yoon, the girl who works at GMI Bakery? The one on Ladune? Yes, cute. I'm going to marry her," Allan said with a touch of pride in his voice. "The fuck, you say? Does she know that?" "Yes, I propose. She's pregnant. I want my child to be born in the States." "You don't always get what you want. Besides, we're here on a suicide mission, and you just signed your own death warrant. You know, the guy who does the big reveal is the only one not to come back," I joked. "Yeah, I might as well be wearing a red shirt." He was cut short by Miles. "No!" as a long bamboo pole caught him under the rib cage. "Fuck! Fuck, get that out of him! Goddamn bamboo whip!" Sarge Whisper yelled. We pulled the pole out of Miles. I saw the tripwire shit. I mean, was there shit on it?" The Kong would often coat their booby traps with feces for that added killing power. Savages. "Christ on a stick, it wouldn't matter. I'm done for, boys." "Stop talking," said Thomas. I really should be able to. Maybe it's only a flesh wound," Miles said, but you could hear the blood filling his lungs as he tried to laugh. "You're gonna be fine." You could hear the anguish in Thomas's voice. Thomas, put your hand in my wound. Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who believe but can't. He couldn't continue as he spit up a massive amount of blood. God damn it, a fucking blasphemer to the end, Thomas joked, but the tears running down his face betrayed his pain. The mission, brothers. Avenge me and complete the mission. Thomas is right. We're losing time. Notch and Coop, stay with Miles, Sarge mouthed. No, Sarge, leave me. I'm dead anyway, look. Miles spread his hands, gesturing at the mass of blood soaking his clothes and the jungle floor. The jungle is death and fornication. We never leave a man behind, and I'm not about to start now. But Sarge knew. You could see it on his face. I love you all. You are my family. It's been an honor, but I'll see you in hell. With an amazing show of nerves and strength, in one swift motion, Miles unsheathed his fair-born sykes and cut his own throat. With his dying breath, he gurgled out, The mission, brothers. Semper Fi. We stood in shock. It was the first of our own we had lost, after over at least 200 missions. Sarge was the first to speak. Gentlemen, we will honor the memory of our fallen friend and brother at another time. Now we can honor his sacrifice by successfully completing this mission. It started raining again. It was still hot, but hopefully the rain would give us a break from the humidity. The rain also increased our sense of gloom as we left the body of our brother there in the jungle with only a minimal chance we would be able to retrieve it. We trudged on through the wet and were almost 10 clicks from the target when sniper rounds started whizzing around us. Everybody hit the ground. Anybody hit? 5 no responses. We had obviously gotten out of their line of sight as the shooting stops. Those sure didn't sound like 1891s, said Rich. K-44? I asked. I doubt it. It sounded more like a suppressed M1, whispered Rich. That's what I thought too. Captured ordnance? Said Sarge. It's this shit weather that saved our asses, boys. From the sound I make 3 shooters, somewhere in that tree line. Agreed, I confirmed. Notch, you and Coop circle around to their left. We'll keep 'em occupied. Coop and I belly walked until we got a safe distance away. We moved slowly until we were past the spot the shots came from. I knew we were close from the smell, and that bothered me a lot. When you live in Saigon, you ate Vietnamese food. I wasn't crazy about it. Too fishy. But it's what we had. These guys smelled of the West. Good old army rations and cigarettes. They were probably Americans. We devised a plan. I'd get behind a tree and shout, U.S. Marines. If they shot at me and gave away their position, a well-hidden Coop would pop 'em. It was a shit plan, but it's all we had. I got behind a tree and shouted, U.S. Marines! And instantly 3 shots rang out. 2 silent M1 shot followed in a millisecond by Coop's Remington 700. Another round from a different location hit the ground right by Coop. I gauged where it came from and took out a sniper in a tree about 130 yards away. Another report, and the 3rd sniper went down. We stayed down, waiting and listening. 3 up, 3 down, but it didn't hurt to confirm the kills and make sure there weren't any other unfriendlies lurking. We army crawled over to the body of the 1st sniper. Sure enough, U.S. Army. What the fuck, we both said. Sarge, Cap, and Thomas came up to us. Boys, there are other GIs as well. Something ugly is going on here, and we're going to find out what it is. We continued toward our target, but were stopped about a half hour later by the sound of someone whimpering. It was a young girl, probably about 13. As soon as she saw us, she screamed. Thomas was first to her, grabbed her, and put his hand over her mouth. She struggled for a few seconds and then started bawling. Thomas made a shush motion and began to release his hand, shaking his head to indicate, yes, I understand. The girl shook her head as well.
โปรดอย่าทำร้ายฉัน
Please don't hurt me. She's Thai, said Coop.
เราจะไม่ทำร้ายคุณเราเป็นคนอเมริกันเราเป็นเพื่อนกัน
We are not going to hurt you. We're Americans. We're friends, Coop said in Thai. But you could see the fear in her eyes when she said the word Americans.
คนอเมริกันทำแบบนี้กับฉันแต่พวกเขาไม่เหมือนคุณ
The girl whispered. The Americans did this to me, but they weren't like you, she said, pointing at her bloody underwear. She held up 4 fingers, and all of us felt the rage rise in us. This is damn strange. There shouldn't be any U.S. troops this far north, and I would have been briefed if any friendly troops were within 100 clicks near our zone of operation. Sarge was puzzled.
เวียดกงทำให้ฉันเจ็บปวดมากมันยังคงเจ็บปวดอยู่
The Viet Cong hurt me so bad. It still hurts.
พวกมันข่มขืนคุณด้วยเหรอ
Did they rape you too? Coop asked, but she shook her head no. She stood up and removed her underwear, squatted like she was taking a shit, and handed Coop a white balloon. Fuck me, man, it's a condom, said Coop. Rinse it off and toss it here, Sarge said, as the girl handed Coop 4 more. Sarge slid it open and smelled it, and then rubbed a small amount on his tongue. This is heroin, Coop. Ask her how she escaped.
เธอบอกว่าพวกเขานำเธอออกไปจากค่ายข่มขืนเธอจากนั้นจึงใช้ด้ามปืนไรเฟิลโจมตีเธอ
She says they took her out away from the camp, raped her, and then cold-cocked her with the rifle butt. The left side of her hair was caked with blood.
ฉันจะชี้ให้คุณดูได้ที่ไหนช่วยพี่สาวของฉันด้วย
I can show you where. Please help my sisters, she pleaded. Her sisters? Ask her how many girls there are, said Sarge.
คุณหนีออกมาได้อย่างไร
40 to 50, Sarge. Oh, shit, said Sarge. This just got far more complicated. Let's roll. As we approached the compound, we knew they knew we were coming. They had, after all, sent out a charming little greeting party. Our hope was that they thought the greeting party had eliminated us. As we surveyed the situation, our stomachs turned. It wasn't a surprise, but we saw lines of women, we assumed kidnapped Thai women, being loaded into U.S. M39 trucks. 3 trucks in all. Women and drugs, Sarge spat out. Our troops working hand in glove with the enemy. We have met the enemy, and he is us, I said. Gentlemen, as I see it, we have 3 objectives. And given the set of circumstances, I'm willing to open this up for discussion. First, we take out General Fong and as much of his command chain as possible. Second, we make sure those hostages are released. And third, and this won't earn us any friends, third, we destroy those M39s. Now, I don't want us to go out of our way to hurt any Americans, but we are entitled to protect ourselves and any friendlies. We are crossing a line here, so I leave it open for discussion. We all looked at each other, mindful of the horrors we had seen and the brother we had lost. Allan spoke for all of us. Free the hostages, and once they're safe, hit the camp. Then kill them. Kill them all. Sounds great, said Coop. What's the plan? Cry havoc, boys, and let slip the dogs of war, Sarge said, his voice betraying anger like I had never heard it before. Hallelujah, said Coop, and may God have mercy on their souls. Amen, motherfuckers, added Thomas. The camp was poorly laid out from a tactical viewpoint. It was a big square with the observation tower at the northeast end. The only non-fenced area was the gates centered on the south side, and the M39s were lined up and blocking most of the exit. Coop would plant charges on the tower, then circle around to plant charges on the trucks, and he and Sarge would try to get the Thai girls off the trucks. How, you ask? We did too. Sarge answered, Bravado, gentlemen, pure bravado. Rich, Thomas, Allan, and I would be stationed on all 4 sides of the camp with sniper rifles to try to eliminate as many unfriendlies as possible. As the best shot, I will be stationed on the southeast corner and cover the entrance. Gentlemen, Sarge said, remember, you are assassins, not soldiers. Use that to your advantage and eliminate any targets of opportunity. If we fail, I'll see you all in hell. And if we succeed, well, we'll probably get worse than eternal damnation. And with that speech, we slowly and quietly took our positions. About 20 minutes later, Sarge's voice came over the walkies. Coop, what's your 20? Charges said, heads up in 2, then bad guys go boom. I'm circling to the trucks now. 2 minutes later, there was a massive explosion and the observation tower toppled into the camp, crushing what I assumed was one of the barracks buildings. It was like gas into an anthill. All 4 of us were taking out multiple targets, and the commotion hid the fact that every 3 or 4 rounds, the reports from our supposedly silent rifles gave away our position. From my vantage point, I saw Sarge walk up to the GIs stationed at the first truck. He was hollering at them and looked like he was issuing orders. Perhaps spooked by his superior demeanor, They started offloading the girls, about 30 of them, and ordered them off the road and down a berm to take cover. The GIs continued down the line, offloading their precious Thai cargo to keep them safe from the melee happening in the camp. While all this was going on, Coop was setting charges on the truck. He came around the other side of the trucks and talked to the girls, who started dispersing further away down the road. Sarge was walking directly into the camp, which was mostly on fire. I saw him take down 3 NVA with his fighting knife, then disappear into the smoke, waving his Colt. The Kong were firing wildly and bullets were whizzing past me. By my count, I had neutralized about 50, and if any of my fellow snipers were my equal, we had eliminated over half the force. Sarge was coming out past the trucks and giving us the sign that we should move. Allan had come around to my position and we moved off. Another huge explosion in the camp, probably their ammo depot, sent the remaining NVA troops running. Unfortunately for them, as they came out of the camp, Coop detonated the truck, sending dink body parts flying. The gunfire continued, but it was the 10 or so American GIs shooting at Coop and shooting at the petrified Thai girls. We had to take them out. It felt horrible, but we were returning fire. We saw Sarge go down and I started run toward him. I took one in the leg and went sprawling. Shit, bullet wound number 4. Allan ran toward me, almost in slow motion. I saw him take 2 in the chest. He tried to say something, but when he opened his mouth, only blood came out. I was on the ground but rolled over and started firing. I was screaming as I shot, and suddenly it felt like I had been kicked in the mouth. I reached up, and half my face seemed like it was gone. Number 5. Instinctively, I reached my bloody hand up and took the St. Christopher medal between my fingers. As an atheist, I never understood why I uttered, "St. Christopher, protect us in our hour of need," as blood, screams, gunpowder, and flames surrounded me. I knew I was dying. Everything faded into blackness, and I almost felt relieved. Thank you for listening to A Murder Most Foul, The Life of a Hitman, copyright 2025, as read by me, the author, Dr. Richard Marks. A new chapter will be posted each week. A Murder Most Foul is produced and recorded at Batavia Studios in Jakarta. This podcast and A Murder Most Foul, The Life of a Hitman are solely works of fiction, and any similarities to persons living or dead are merely coincidental. The music used in this podcast is the second movement of Franz Schubert's Piano Trio in E-flat, Opus 100. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to email me at drrichardmarks@gmail.com. That's drrichardmarcs@gmail.com. If you enjoy the show, please like and subscribe to the podcast and tell a friend. Thank you, and until next week, be more than you seem.